Hello.
Hi. Hi.
Oh, we're live.
Oh, we
Oh, hi,
live?
Ron. Yes,
Hello.
Hello,
we
everybody.
are live. Hello. So it is obviously Thursday again at 12:30 p.m. That's why you're seeing us live for our pop-up career Q&A today. So this is streaming on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, where we actually answer any career-related questions that you have. So if you have a question, just ask it down in like the comments below. But hello to everyone who's already
Yeah.
here. Just say
Say
hi in the
hi.
comments so we can see you.
Yes.
Say hi.
Hello.
Say hi to us, whether you can hear us clearly or not. But I do want to highlight that this session of pop-up Q&A is powered by redONE. So redONE is Malaysia's first and largest postpaid mobile virtual network operator and is widely known for its affordable, amazing postpaid plans that start from 8 ringgit a month with only 60 GB, with up to 60 GB data. Customers enjoy uninterrupted streaming and unlimited calls with reliable nationwide coverage as it rides on Celcom Axiata's network infrastructure. So for more details, please visit redone.com.my for more details. There will be a link in the comments, and also you can see the link scrolling at the bottom of the screen there. So hi everyone, we see a lot of people joining us really. Hi,
Yeah.
Chris.
Hello, everyone.
Hi,
Lots of people from
Christy,
LinkedIn. Hi, Christy. Hi, Sarah.
Sarah,
Hi,
Srinjoy. I'm not
Amanda.
pronouncing it properly. Kailang, hello.
Yeah,
Hi.
so thank you for joining us, but shall we bring up the first question first?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we tend to bring up questions that we didn't manage to answer last week. So we're going to start there. But if you have any questions, career related, you can ask in the comments below. So
Yeah.
let's go.
So the question that we got last week that we didn't get to answer was, oh, my boss is stubborn. How do I communicate with him better? So the full question is, my boss is way older than I am and a bit stubborn. He likes open communication, but I don't like his reactions to criticism. How do I approach him for us to both be constructive in our work relationship?
I don't know. Maybe I think it's very relevant for all of you to share. I suppose. How do you
Not
share
related to Derek.
criticism?
Well, I
Yeah,
think
yeah. Like what?
the first thing you need to know is that he or she is your boss. So in the end, that person still has final say. So you do have to accept that. So maybe what like feedback you're giving back to your boss, like, it's in the end, if your boss disagrees and thinks that that's not the direction to move for the business or for that particular project or decision, then you do have to listen. Like for you, maybe you're thinking, oh, my boss is so stubborn, I'm right. But in the end, like, it's, still that person, your boss is the one that has the final say, so you do have to listen. Maybe you're being stubborn.
Yeah. Maybe. But is there any is there any particular way, like let's say if you were trying to express something to me that you think might be potentially offensive?
Well, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. So I think it takes time for you to learn like your boss's communication style and what matters to your boss. So over the years, as like you're my boss, Derek. So like over the years, I've learned what things you value, and so I know what sort of information to communicate. For example, you're a very logical person. You like proof. So if I were to suggest like, hey, we should do this on social media, I know if I just say that to you, you're going to be like, I don't know. But if I say, hey, we should do this on social media, here's some examples of famous people who are doing these things on social media, we should do the same thing, then you're going to be like, yeah, okay. And that's because I know you like proof. So
Yeah.
maybe it's also about understanding what sort of information your boss values, and then presenting that information when you're trying to present your point.
Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
good.
Oh, what
I would
about
like to
Kenny and
share as
Brian? What
well.
about when you guys? Yeah, because I'm your boss. So when you're
Yes.
presenting to
Yeah.
me, yeah.
Fortunately, like Shakira has been pretty actually practicing open communication, but I not much example to share there, but just across how I talk to people in general, right? Here's one mistake that I make. When people are open, when people say they want to practice open communication, it doesn't mean that you can say whatever you want. Like it doesn't mean like you really say things straight out from what you're thinking without actually trying to position the message. So sometimes you might come off as very offensive and pushy, and I have done that unconsciously before. I kind of like, like, okay, you say you like open communication, and then here's the problem that I want to push to you right now. Then someone would be taken back a little bit on why you're so aggressive, why you're so aggressive in presenting this. So be very aware of your tone. What we practice at WOBB is radical candor, right? So try not to gravitate to being like obnoxiously aggressive. When you're talking about radical candor, you can be open, but the way you position the message can be a nice, constructive feedback. So instead of saying like, hey, your idea really sucks, your idea is terrible, it's like, hey, I think there's a better way that we can improve this.
Yeah, I think, sorry to interrupt, like like to hone in on that point, instead of just saying, this is what I think, you should be saying, I think we should do this because it provides value to the company, it provides value to you. Like, you should focus on the end goal, and the end goal should be relevant for the business, not to yourself personally.
You explain it well. So don't snowball the conversation with just your opinions, but bring up the values and how does it actually help the company. What are the good points that your boss wants to need, rather than just like, oh, from my perspective, this is how it should be. This is why. Vent my frustrations, not like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
so
right.
I just wrap that point up clear, because I think what Shakira mentioned earlier was quite true. At the end of the day, organizational hierarchy is still there, no matter how open your boss is, he or she is, right? Because so in that sense, you have to think of it as persuasion. You are persuading this person, even though they say they're open, you're still having to persuade them. So how would you persuade someone to make a decision? And I'm remembering this quote wrong, but the quote goes something, quite a famous CEO or founder said this before, goes something like, oh, if you come to me with an idea, I hope you come with some evidence, because if you're coming to me with an opinion, we're going to use mine, right? So if you understand this quote, then I think you understand how it works, right? So if you're going to talk to a decision maker with just like a fluffy thought or idea, not based on any evidence, it's going to be pretty hard to persuade the person to change their mind.
We got a lot of questions coming in, guys.
Hi everyone.
Questions in. Hello.
So people joining us. So thanks for joining us, guys. Can we move on to the next question? Let's quickly answer this. We have been asked many times before. What should I prepare for a phone screening interview? I would say it's no different from a normal interview. You still got to do your proper research about the company. Not like someone calls you, only you frantically open your laptop and Google the company. Not like that. You should always, when you apply for any job, right, you should not only be well versed of the job role, but the company you're applying for. Okay.
Yeah.
But in terms of the things that are just exclusively for phone screening interviews, I would say the only thing is find a quiet place to do it. Quiet,
strong reception. Those two are very important. Yeah.
But everything else is very much similar to preparing for a real interview.
But you have an advantage when you're doing a phone interview, which is that you're not face to face, so you can have your notes in front of you, so that you're well prepared. Whatever notes it is, like whether it's notes on the company, notes on questions you wanted to ask, notes on yourself, so you don't forget, because you can forget when you're nervous. That's the added advantage, because they can't see you, so you sound super prepared.
No, that's a good tip. In fact, if you printed your notes, try not to shuffle between them. Spread them out on the table.
Don't let them hear you shuffling.
Don't let them hear you shuffling pieces of paper. But anyway, those are good ideas.
And I think Derek shared this tip before. If you're speaking and you want to sound more confident, you can stand up, because it actually allows you to project your voice better. So through the phone, you sound more confident. And you should smile also, because when you smile, you actually sound happier. So through the phone, you also sound cheerful, and you won't be nervous and stuff like that. And you translate through the phone. Even if they can't see you, you should try to smile as well.
They can hear it. Yeah.
So next question is from Harif. How do you deal with a boss who likes to play the blaming game to the point you started to judge your own ability to perform the task? This kind of boss is more leading the team by fear. What can a person do in this situation?
Okay, so let's say this boss, I'm just assuming, if you're if your point is totally true, like if an objective person watching the situation agrees that your boss is maybe not the best, likes to lead by fear, I don't know who your boss is. Sometimes I heard a quote before, it's like, trying to reason with a fool makes you a fool yourself. And I'm not saying like, for all I know, maybe in this situation, like it's not true. Maybe this is just your point of view and your boss is not this kind of person. But let's say he is or she is, then sometimes like it's very hard to reason with someone like that. And it's better for your own mental health to just keep quiet and keep your opinion to yourself. Yeah.
And
but
I think
it doesn't sound like a good situation to be in. Maybe you want to look at other opportunities. Yeah.
This isn't really solving the problem, but in a sense, if you know that your boss is very volatile, he likes to blame people, and you can't really talk with them if they're stubborn, maybe what you can do is to protect yourself. Make sure that your work is properly documented. You avoid any unnecessary mistakes. At the very least, you can reduce the chances of you getting scolded or on the other side of where the blame game. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think in order to answer this question properly, we probably need to know like the whole story, right? Exactly what actually happened.
Yeah.
Why do you feel it's a blame, like they're blaming you? And I think that's why Shakira first started by saying, assuming this is true, that this person is blaming, because we know very often in the workplace, right? It's quite messy. You think things are very orderly, like a lot of things going on. People are talking to each other a lot, and when something goes wrong, you might remember it one way, he or she might remember it another way, and you think they're blaming you, they think you're not taking responsibility, you're blaming someone else. So it's very common, actually. So at the end of the day, right, I think building trust among the team is very important, and it might sound like a difficult thing to do because you can't. So assuming that you can't change your boss, you might ask the question, how do I build trust with my boss? Maybe try asking this question, how do I get my boss to trust me more? And you can start by taking more responsibility than you normally do, like stepping up, taking initiative, and try like do it for like 3 months. Every time you take more responsibility than people expect you to do it, and see whether attitudes to you change or not. I mean, that's my suggestion. You might be surprised. Suddenly the attitude to you might change because there's now trust, right? But if you do it for 3 months and it's not changing, then well, I guess I think the answer is there.
Yeah, sometimes it's just a simple case of miscommunication, right? Like, maybe your boss thinks you do something, but you did do what you're supposed to do, but it wasn't well documented, or like, I'm not sure, right? So but I mean, to give you the benefit of the doubt, Harif, like it might just be a bad boss, but I'm just speaking in general. Try to listen to what your boss is blaming you on. Sometimes it might be a fault of ours without us being conscious about it, right? Then take it as a point of improvement. And then like what Derek said, change and improve yourself upon that. And if you have done all that already and the attitude still doesn't change, then you can confirm that perhaps it's not really your fault already.
Yeah.
All right. So, we have a pretty urgent question. Hi, today I've got an interview with top-level management, HR manager and region manager. Can you please share some tips to face the interview?
Good luck.
Good luck. My immediate tip is don't be intimidated by their position. If it's just a HR executive interviewing you, you also should treat it equally as important. So if you can.
I know it's easier said than done, but try to still be confident, present confidence, know your stuff, know what you're talking about. Those things are important. What else? What other tips do you guys have?
Try to think like a top level management, try to understand what kind of answers they want, what kind of things that a top level management person would want to ask. So maybe things that are more related to the company as a whole instead of your position, because that's, as Derek mentioned, typically a CEO or a C-level person would want to see how the company grows with you instead of like how you grow in the company instead. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to echo a bit what Brian said earlier about making sure that you're not nervous and you see them the same as you would interview HR exec, all the same, right? Because so what I mean is, I'm not asking you to be overly friendly, but still, you should come across as like someone that they can speak to, that they can see themselves talking to every day, like that you're not like an employee of them, just like a professional friendly kind of vibe, so and in order to do that, you have to first remove the idea that this is top level management.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe you have to take those 3 words out of your head and just say, I'm going for an interview, right? And hopefully that would change your demeanor during the interview.
Easier said than done, but you
Yeah.
got this. Good luck.
Yeah. Good luck.
Good luck. So moving on to Maya's question, I got an offer with lower salary compared to my previous job. I can't negotiate the salary as they said is their last offer and they hope I would say yes. But what should I negotiate other than salary and work flexibility to compensate for the lower salary?
Honestly, I'm not sure if there's a lot of space to negotiate some more, right? I mean, if you can if you want, but you've been nibbling already. Right? So what I mean is like things like, oh, do you have a car park? I'm not sure if those things are. I mean, depends on the context, right? What kind of job you have. But yeah, when it comes to work, it's mostly remuneration. Company benefits are typically standard, so it applies to everyone. So you probably it's probably easier to negotiate salary than to negotiate a unique benefit to you as an employee. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
for example, if everyone in the company has to pay their own parking, you're like, okay, I want my own parking. I mean, the company has no reason to suddenly treat you like so special compared to everyone else.
Plus, it might cause trouble. Then other people would say, how come she gets parking and I don't?
Yes.
Yeah. So the short answer is, unfortunately, it sounds like you have to make the decision based on this, what's on the table.
You could try again to negotiate the salary, because again, like we said, the thing that is usually negotiable is the salary. But since they said it's their last offer, you'd be taking a risk also lah. I mean,
you could try, well, as a last minute push, I just thought of this, you could try to negotiate future salary. So what I mean is something like, just go to them and say, okay, I'm okay with this right now, but are you willing to relook at my work 6 months from now? Let's say,
if I hit my KPIs, I would like this salary bump.
So at least ask them to be open to that. It's probably very difficult for them to, like, they probably not willing to put it in writing, but at the very least, because there's some kind of verbal agreement, in most cases they will follow through, So, but whether or not it guarantees you get that pay bump, like that, then depends on your work, I suppose. But you can try it,
Yeah, Maya, this is not what I'm about to say is not something that can immediately solve your problem, but I'm seeing that you are still very adamant in joining this company, even though they offer you a lower salary. Perhaps, I'm not saying salary is not important, you still got to pay your bills and stuff like that, right? But if you think it's a really good company that has a lot of opportunities for you to move up and excel, a lot of opportunities for you to better yourself and get promoted, right? If it's a slightly lower salary, it is not unheard of. I have some peers that move to a next job because the work environment and the opportunities are so much better. They move to smaller companies that from like big companies that offer them bigger salaries to like a slightly lower salary, right? Some even quite a drastic change. But for them, if they are happy there, they can work very well there. The work environment is great. The money will follow, will come later.
Yep.
So that's what I would say. So, all right. Is that all of our thoughts for this?
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
All right. So the next question would be, I'm a very data-driven person, numbers, statistics, facts, but the boss is not, which after a proposal is done, boss says, I think we can change this, change that, but based on instinct and guess.
Sounds like complete opposite personality.
I think Derek is the right person to ask.
Derek's like, but Derek's the
Data
opposite.
person.
Derek's about data.
Yeah.
But he's the boss, so it's
You
different.
should work in WOBB. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, it sounds like you'd be perfect here. Derek would like that.
That's right. Based on instinct and guess. It's so difficult that let's assume this person is, well, in WOBB terms, we refer to this as like a yellow personality. That means someone that's like extroverted is not that important, but they make decisions based on instinct or like gut feeling, emotion.
Yeah.
And they don't really look at data.
You sound like a blue or red personality where
Yeah.
You make decisions based on logic, facts, proof. Yeah.
So
it's tough when your boss is a different personality.
Yeah. So you have to speak their language. You know, typically like yellow or greens, this is our internal language. Someone's like driven, makes decisions using emotion. You know, they are maybe more people orientated. They are more, you know, like making decisions based on making people feel good. There's this happy feeling, you know. So you have to change the way you communicate your idea, you know, away from data and more to, you know, I think if we do this right, it feels good because like you change the language, even use the word feel. I feel that it might be better if we do that, you know, because, you know, maybe Michael in accounts would be happier, you know, like I'm just giving you like a simple example, right? How the decision process is done.
Yeah, so your suggestions could remain the same and based on the same facts. But like Derek said, you communicate it differently. You communicate it in a way that excites your boss. Like, yes, okay, I think so. Yeah.
Yes. I want to make Michael from accounts happy, so I like that suggestion. You know, as an example.
So when you're thinking things, you can still use numbers and data. That's fine, but don't put like the whole page of data in front of your boss, because that's like a big turnoff. Like what you say, you know, try to make out what that data is. You know, what does it mean? Like how to put it in like simple layman terms, or like try to give some like educated guesses on what that means. So perhaps your boss will respond better to that.
I'm considered a yellow in the office, so numbers just confuse me. So I think the goal here is to translate those numbers into words and try to just make, like everyone said, really just make your boss feel excited about that particular action. That will actually really motivate them, because at the end of the day, they feel good about it, and that's why they wanted to follow their gut instinct.
So like just a very crude example, like if you did something new, it's like, after we changed to this product, our user acquisition increased by 32%. Then it's like boring, right? So you want to say like, after we changed this product, a lot of people like our product.
Yeah, they commented, they said they love us. Yeah, something like that.
So
really? 100% it works. Yeah, I really believe that will work. Make a huge difference how you communicate the idea. Same idea, just communicated differently.
Yeah. Right. So moving on to Mi's question. Hi, I have a degree in French, but most of my internship position offered by companies are not related to my field of study. I really need some advice regarding this matter. Is this like degree in French? Is this like linguistics?
Yeah, maybe linguistics.
Most of the it's very niche. I mean, I think it'd be very difficult for you to find a role that's looking for someone with a degree in French. That being said, that doesn't mean that you can't apply for jobs that are not directly related to a degree in French, which honestly, like what kind of job would be like so specifically related to a linguistics degree? I'm not that sure. I don't have expertise.
No, I'm not sure either.
Yeah.
In fact, I probably have a follow-up question, a very important, which is actually, what job do you want?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not quite clear. I mean, if you are looking for a job where you're required to speak French, or are you just looking for like sales and marketing? Because if that is what you're thinking, I would say that it doesn't matter what degree you do for an internship. I think if you if you have a decent degree, employers would still hire you for internships. And French is one of those degrees where there's no clear profession for it anyway. So it's wide open lah. You know.
In a sense,
From-
I think if you're planning to really apply your degree for linguistics, you typically go into education like teaching French, or you go into translation or interpretation. But maybe if you're planning to just use French, you can consider working for French companies or even apply to work in the French embassy in Malaysia. Those are also options where you can actually use part of your degree, but they're not directly related. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good advice.
Yeah.
All right. That's all thoughts for this one.
I think we have time for one more.
Let's squeeze in one more.
So, question from LinkedIn. I am an auditor and this is my first job. If I wish to switch job to marketing, is it possible? Any advice?
Oh, we have
Thanks,
somebody who can answer that for you, right, Derek? Kind of related to your what you did.
Yeah, I was an auditor. I did switch. So I was an auditor and then I did HR and then now I'm like in tech. So but you said you want to switch to marketing. How long have you been doing auditing? That'll be my first question. And if you're still fairly young and junior, as in still quite early in your career, I think it's easier to switch, right? The more because you probably try to join this new role as a fresh graduate level. You know, I mean, you won't be able to join as an experienced marketeer. Let's just put it that way. But the longer you wait to try to switch, then the harder it becomes, because auditing and marketing is quite different. There's very little overlap between these two disciplines. You know, so as a simple example, I did auditing, but then when I went to HR, as in doing recruitment, I actually helped recruit for a lot of accountants for banks in the beginning. So there was some relevance there, when it was a completely different role. And because I did recruitment, I'm running a tech company right now that helps people hire people. Does that make sense? So again, running a tech company is very different from HR, but I still managed to move something across to the new role. Yeah, but auditing and marketing is quite different. So the earlier you decide, the better. I think maybe Kenny is a better person to say something about it.
So I also transitioned from law to marketing. I think the first thing you need to consider is which part of marketing do you want to go into. There's digital, there's social media, there's even events. Each takes like slightly particular skills. So it's very possible for you to switch, but like we always say, if you're planning to switch, most likely because you have no experience at all, you need to start from the beginning, so from junior level. So if you're an experienced auditor, you may not be earning the same salary as you did. And secondly, if you want to enter into marketing, you want to give yourself the best advantage possible, you need to equip yourself with the necessary skills. So for example, if you want to be a digital marketer, you should probably start taking Google ads trainings, Facebook ads trainings, stuff like that to actually prepare yourself for the job. A lot of people think marketing is just quite like a lot of fun things. You're just gonna promote something to other people, but it's more than that. There's actually more strategy and more like
technical.
a lot of skills behind it. So it's best that you prepare yourself and do some research about it.
Yeah, I want to end with like saying that, you know, make sure the grass is actually as green as you think it is on the other side. A lot of people think marketing is like, it's like the cool job to do, right? But it all depends on your personal preference and what kind of job you like. And also marketing is very, very broad. So you need to acknowledge that what kind of marketing do you want to do?
Yes.
And it varies like in industry, between industry. And I would say if you can afford it and if you want, I think joining a marketing internship would be the best option for you right now to actually explore whether would you want to do this like permanently next time without actually having like a full commitment. Because if you're an auditor and this is your first job, and you know you haven't worked there for like 2 years or like 1 year, and you leave and then you join marketing and then you don't like it and you leave again, that is not going to look very good on your history lah. So, but if it's internship, people will be understanding on shorter working durations. So yes, we have 29 minutes. Do you still want to squeeze in one more? Or?
Let's see what question it is.
More, I think.
Find a good one. Find a good question.
Oh, the pressure is on. Oh, okay. I think this is pretty good. What are the most important factors to consider when you are evaluating different job offers? So I think a lot of people from who I talk to, they when they go for interview, they always juggle between how many interviews to go, and then when they've done all that, they get like multiple job offers, right? So, and obviously, if they apply to all these companies, is to a certain extent they like all these companies. So, how do they choose the best option out of that?
I think first I'll say is congratulations.
Yes.
You have multiple offers. Well done to you. Not many people are in this kind of position.
It's a good problem.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have. My shorter answer would be, well, we look at long-term money. So long-term career growth, don't use for long-term money. So don't pick on based on what is the immediate salary, but whether you see there's a path forward or not. There's a very obvious growth path in this job that you're taking. That's one. And number two, do you believe you could be this person that can be on this growth path? So that do you have that kind of interest in this job? Do you think you have the potential for it skill-wise? Because most people have a sense, right, of what they're good at and what they're not good at. As an example, I would never try to be a professional basketball player, as an example, even though I know it's if you succeed, you succeed, but I'm not good in sport, so just those things to consider, long-term career growth. Long-term career growth, whether there's some interest in and whether you can see yourself being skilled in the job.
Yeah. So those are very logical answers from Derek. I'm going to give you a feeling answer. The feeling answer is what does your gut say?
Yeah.
Most likely, right, you do want one more than the other. So sometimes you just got to trust your gut lah. Your instinct says maybe with all the logic and everything that Derek gave you, you're going to be like, okay, so logically, objectively, I think option A is better than option B. But then your gut is like, but I feel like I would like it there more. I would like option B. Then you have to decide you want to follow your head or your heart. It depends on you as a person. Most likely, most of the time you follow either your head or your heart, like you lean more to one side. So it depends on you for that decision.
Yeah. And if your head and your heart are disagreeing with each other very strongly, maybe you can sit on it for a while. Sometimes time helps, right? If you have the time, just sit it out, maybe continue going for interviews, and then slowly the answer may become more obvious.
Or you can even ask your friends or family for their opinion. Maybe they can give you some different opinion, things that you never thought about as well.
Yeah, and it's not necessary that you have to listen to your friends and family, but when they're giving you their opinion, sometimes your own decision becomes clearer. Yeah.
Just flip a coin when the coin
I was just going to say,
when the coin is in the air and you're hoping that it's one or the other, you know which one you want.
Yeah.
But for real, don't just consider the job. And I saw that you bracket industries also, consider the company, the organizational culture, the work environment as well. I'm not sure what kind of role you are applying, but if they're very much the same, right? For example, if it's you're doing accounts, right? More often than not, you kind of do almost the same, similar things in different companies. Then people might just think about, what about salary and benefits and all the other stuff, but they completely ignore the company, the factor of the company, the industry you're in. So that plays a big role as well, the company culture. So if you can find that the work environment is healthy, you'll be really happy working there as well. Even though days where work gets really tough, you're swamped with work, right? You know that you're doing it for a company that you really love in the end.
Yeah. Well, I just want to add one last thing. I just thought of it. Also, you have to realize that when companies are trying to recruit you, they're obviously going to try to sell you the role, which means that they're going to position it as positively as possible. So to help make this decision, right, you should talk to people who are in the industry, who've been in the industry for a couple of years. If you are lucky, you have relationships like this, just give them a call and ask them, so what's it like actually? What do you like about this and what don't you like? just ask them to give you their frank opinion, and then that would give you a lot more information about what really is this job going to be about, rather than what the company is telling you, right? Or the recruiter is telling you.
Totally agree.
I'm not saying that the recruiter is not telling you the truth. I'm just saying that they obviously will position it as positively as possible, so you have to realize that.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Do consider that. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today.
Yes.
So this week's pop-up Q&A is powered by redONE with postpaid plans up to 60 GB from as low as 8 ringgit a month. Do visit the link redone.com.my for more details. You can see in the comments and also the little scroller down at the bottom. So again, thank you redONE for making this session possible. Well, everyone, we noticed that we did not manage to answer every question that you have sent us, but we do have a solution for you. Kenny, why don't you tell them about that?
Yeah. So for the people that we didn't manage to answer your questions, we actually have a forum called Offwork that we created just for career questions and discussions. So if you didn't manage to get your questions answered, please, you can join us there and we'll actually answer your questions. You can also get opinions from other experts as well, not just us, not people from WOBB only. Yeah. So do go over there.
We're in the group as well. So if you ask us right now, we'll prioritize your questions.
Yes.
All right. So
yeah, we'll be there for the next half an hour.
Yes.
Yeah. See you at Offwork. Do like the video if you enjoyed this session. Bye,
Thank you
everyone.
for coming. Bye.